It's all a game. Machiavelli was the first to reveal the naked lunch, the unadorned truth. Machiavelli said, "One who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions. Of mankind we may say in general they are fickle, hypocritical, and greedy of gain. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Men are so simple and yield so readily to the desires of the moment that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer to be tricked. The fact is that a man who wants to act virtuously in every way necessarily comes to grief among so many who are not virtuous. It is necessary for him who lays out a state and arranges laws for it to presuppose that all men are evil and that they are always going to act according to the wickedness of their spirits whenever they have free scope. Hence it comes about that all armed prophets have been victorious, and all unarmed prophets have been destroyed. Whoever conquers a free town and does not demolish it commits a great error and may expect to be ruined himself. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. No enterprise is more likely to succeed than one concealed from the enemy until it is ripe for execution. A son can bear with equanimity the loss of his father, but the loss of his inheritance may drive him to despair. The distinction between children and adults, while probably useful for some purposes, is at bottom a specious one, I feel. There are only individual egos, crazy for love. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise that the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. The new ruler must determine all the injuries that he will need to inflict. He must inflict them once and for all. Severities should be dealt out all at once, so that their suddenness may give less offense. Benefits ought to be handed or drop by drop, so that they may be relished the more. Men ought either to be indulged or utterly destroyed, for if you merely offend them they take vengeance, but if you injure them greatly they are unable to retaliate, so that the injury done to a man ought to be such that vengeance cannot be feared. War is just when it is necessary, arms are permissible when there is no hope except in arms. War should be the only study of a prince. He should consider peace only as a breathing time, which gives him leisure to contrive, and furnishes as ability to execute, military plans. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Princes and governments are far more dangerous than other elements within society. Benefits should be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better. Hatred is gained as much by good works as by evil. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. The promise given was a necessity of the past, the word broken is a necessity of the present. Since it is difficult to join them together, it is safer to be feared than to be loved when one of the two must be lacking. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. Before all else, be armed. There is no avoiding war, it can only be postponed to the advantage of others.